I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? Another full card breakdown and predictions video. This one's going to be UFC 279. Now, just quickly to recap my bets on the last card. I did make 4 bets, hit all 4, dusted them. I played Nasrat Haqparast, Nathaniel Wood, and then I had 2 parlays. Now, as always, guys, before we get into making the predictions, breaking down the fights, we do have to go to MoneyCity. And to be honest, guys, a lot of you smashed your MoneyCity comments. Like, there's over 25 MoneyCity plays. So what I'm gonna do is just literally put each comment on the screen. And to anyone that's new to gambling, like if you're new to betting or new to betting on the UFC, check some of these comments, because some of these bets, it's simple. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff. You know, most of these people, pretty much everyone who's smacked their MoneyCity play, you're not trying to hit like 6 legs, 7 legs. You're not trying anything crazy. It's all good stuff. It's professional. It looks good. And all I can say, you know, if your comment is on the screen, that's money. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. But yeah, MoneyCity did have a lot of players last week. As you can see on the screen, all of you guys, you like the money. You know what I'm saying? You like the money. Let's go. And guys, you know what? Every single person who's on the MoneyCity this week, I literally challenge every single one of you to smack your MoneyCity again. That's going to be my challenge for you guys. And like I say, there's about 25 people on the MoneyCity. So yeah, that's going to be my challenge for you guys. Can you go back to back? Or some of you back to back to back? Alright guys, be sure to use your techniques on the like button. If you want to Khamzat smash the like button, you can do that. UFC 279, let's go. Alright, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Darian Weeks taking on Yohan Lainesse. Now guys, originally I was siding with Darian Weeks before I got to watching the tape on this matchup. And that's usually what I do, you know. Every single matchup I've got a pick in mind, and then I'll go watch the tape. If the tape changes my mind, then I'll change my pick. And on this matchup, guys, I have changed my pick. Now, the reason why I changed my pick, if you look at Darian Weeks against Barberena in his UFC debut, notice the technique that Barberena continuously landed against Darian was the low kick, the calf kick. Then you see in his most recent fight with Ian Gary, again, he was dropped with the calf kick. You know, that calf kick landed multiple times. And if you look at the UFC debut of Yohan Lainesse, he does land that calf kick multiple times against Gabe Green. I think the big problem for Yohan Lainesse in his UFC debut, the big problem was the energy expenditure was bad. You know, used a lot of energy early in that matchup. Now, Yohan doesn't have a lot of fights, but at the highest level, energy expenditure is a big thing. And you kind of need to learn how to use your energy. Right? Don't fatigue too early in the fight. And that's really what happened to Yohan Lainesse. You know, everything he was trying to do, it's 100% power. You got to tone it back a little bit. You know, take 10% or 20% off of your strikes. And that way Yohan Lainesse is going to be able to fight longer. So energy expenditure needs to be something Yohan Lainesse shows in this next matchup. And on the flip side for Darian Weeks, he needs to show, you know, I can check a calf kick, because if he doesn't, Yohan Lainesse probably lands that technique multiple times and it's going to score. It's going to score on the judge's scorecard. So guys, I am going to say this one's pretty much a 50-50 matchup. It's low level. Both guys do have weaknesses. Yeah, it's not really an easy prediction to make. Darian Weeks may be more technical, maybe more composed, maybe he can fight longer than Yohan Lainesse. But like I said, he kind of gets hit with the calf kick. On the flip side, I would say Yohan has more power, but the energy expenditure is not too good. And that's why it's a 50-50 matchup. So yeah, in my opinion, a low level matchup, I'm going to side with Yohan to get the win. And moving into the next matchup here, we've got Elise taking on Melissa Martinez. Guys, super melee. Melissa Martinez, this girl's pretty good. She seems to be like a karate practitioner. Her kicking's really good, super good. I'd consider it elite, you know, very good kicking. Now on the flip side, Elise Reed is a Taekwondo player. She's a really good kicker too. So this is going to be a striking matchup. A little bit of a red flag on Melissa Martinez though. She hasn't been inside the octagon in like 2 years. But when you look at the tape, for me, I really think she's impressive. I think the kicking's good. I think the footwork's good. She's impressive, man. The striking's good. Looking at the takedown defense, I don't think it's that good. She can be taken to the mat, but Elise Reed doesn't really do that. You know, Sam Hughes kind of out-grappled Elise Reed. She mauled her. You know, she took her to the mat and just torched her, dusted. And Sijara Eubanks also done that too. So I kind of expect Elise Reed to want to keep this one on the feet, try to strike with super melee, Melissa Martinez. One thing that may be a factor in this matchup, the cardio of Elise Reed, I'm not sure it's too good. If you look at her second round, her last round, she looks very stationary. Whereas on the flip side, I think Melissa Martinez might have good cardio. Stylistically, I do believe it's a good matchup for both girls, you know. Both girls are good kickers. But I think as the fight ticks on, Elise Reed probably slows down, and Melissa Martinez, her kicks are going to add up. So I'm going to side with the newcomer, Melissa Martinez, super melee in her UFC debut. Alright, moving into a matchup between Chad Anheliger taking on Heili Alateng. Now guys, Heili Alateng is a wrestler, but doesn't really look to use his wrestling too much. This guy's happy to stand and trade. And the reason why Heili looks to stand and trade, he's pretty powerful. His hands are pretty quick. And if you look at what he done to Kevin Kroom, get dusted. Now against Gustavo Lopez, Heili Alateng did win this matchup, but for some reason, he wanted to keep grabbing the fence. And Keith Peterson was even like, yo, Heili, don't grab the fence. But then again, Heili is Chinese, so is he going to understand what Keith Peterson is trying to tell him? He probably doesn't understand, but Keith Peterson took his glove, physically grabbed his glove, and ripped it off the cage. And that's really why Keith Peterson's a G. You know, he knew that Heili didn't understand him, so he universally showed him. But Heili Alateng, he grabs the fence again. What are you doing? Stop grabbing the fence. So yeah, looking at the fighter that is Heili Alateng, I think he's pretty powerful. I think he can knock you out. But outside of round one, kind of slows down a little bit. Now on the flip side, looking at Chad Anheliger, this guy has pretty good cardio. He kind of seems like the type of fighter that's going to lose a lot of round ones. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of scrappy. Yeah, kind of hittable. But his cardio's good. His footwork's good. But looking at what Chad might be good at, I think it's going to be using that cardio as a weapon. So round one might not go his way, but as the opponent starts to slow down, you continue to use good footwork and just kind of start to use more output, maybe wrestle. You got to show your cardio. So yeah, in my opinion, guys, I'm going to side with Chad Anheliger as a plus 140 underdog. Might lose round one, but if Heili Alateng slows down, I think Chad can maybe, you know, keep the same pace or maybe even up the pace. And to be honest, when you look at Alateng, he can kind of be low output, and that's because he uses a lot of power in those shots early in the fight. If you're going to pick Chad to win this matchup, you would kind of have to rely on his cardio and his output later in the fight, and I am going to side with that. I'm going to take Chad plus 140, the underdog, slight underdog, to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Norma Dumont taking on Danyelle Wolf. Who is Danyelle Wolf? This girl's 39 years old. She's been inside the octagon one time. You know, that's enough to already fade her, already pick against her. Been to the octagon one time, 39 years old. Now, Danyelle Wolf is a boxer. Her boxing's pretty good. It's pretty sharp. But like I say, man, she's been to the octagon one time. She's 39. This ain't boxing, this is mixed martial arts. And I think Norma Dumont, just take her to the mat. Take her to the mat, which is something that happened to Norma Dumont in her last matchup against MGK Macy Chiasson. Macy took her to the mat, out-grappled her, but I do think Norma Dumont should just, you know, do the same thing. She hasn't got the experience on the mat, so take her to the mat. If you put a gun to my head on this one, guys, I should, you know, survive. I should survive. Norma should just take her to the mat, dust her, and that's got to be my pick. I've got to go with Norma Dumont against a 39-year-old boxer that's been to the octagon one time. I'm taking Norma Dumont. Moving into a matchup between Jake Collier taking on Chris Barnett. My goodness, why is this even on UFC 279? Now, Jake Collier, man, he's got this yo-yo record, you know. Lose, win, lose, win, lose. He's in schedule to win the fight. You know, he's scheduled to win. So I'm going to pick Jake Collier to win. He maybe should have got the win against Andrei Arlovski. I had a bet on Arlovski and I kind of felt like Jake Collier was doing a little bit more in that matchup. Looking at his performance against Chase Sherman, man, when Jake Collier can get a takedown, he's like a fridge. So yeah, there's a couple good things with Jake Collier, you know, the calf kick's pretty good, he's got power, he's pretty strong on top like a fridge. Now on the flip side, Chris Barnett, you know, put some respect on Chris Barnett's name. You know, what he done to Jean Volonté, I think we should remember this. You know, this is an all-time great moment. And if you didn't see what Chris Barnett done to Jean Volonté, you know, you just got to YouTube that and appreciate that. But yeah, my pick, I'm going to side with Jake Collier. He's taller, he's longer, he's got more power. And like I said, if Jake Collier does get a takedown, he's pretty strong. I think Chris Barnett kind of fades too. You know, outside of round 1, starts to fade, which kind of does seem reasonable, seeing as these are big guys. You know, these guys are not in shape. They're carrying a lot of weight. So yeah, I'm going to side with Jake Collier to win this matchup. Should beat Chris Barnett. Moving into a matchup between Jamie Pickett taking on Denis Tiuliulin. Guys, I'm not really much of a fan of Jamie Pickett. I think he's shown multiple times that he's not really UFC caliber. For example, against Kyle Dorcas, his takedown defense was not good. Taken to the mat quite easily. Against Jordan Wright, he was bulldozed. You know, round 1, dusted. Against Tafon and Chukwi, you know, maybe not expected to win the fight, but Tafon was gassed. He was gassed later in the fight and Jamie Pickett still couldn't do much. Even on the Contender Series, you know, lost his first 2 fights on the Contender. So yeah, Jamie Pickett, in my opinion, not the best. Maybe not UFC caliber. And if he loses this matchup, he goes 2-4. Now, having said all of that, guys, I still do expect Jamie Pickett to beat Denis Tiuliulin. I don't think Jamie's great, but I think he should beat Denis Tiuliulin. When you go look at the tape on Denis Tiuliulin in his UFC debut, I kind of see a right hand. You know, the right hand's okay, but that's kind of it. You know, the right hand's good, but what else is there? So if I'm Jamie Pickett in this matchup, I'm just going to circle away from that right hand. You know, circle away from the right hand, so circle to your right. And if Jamie Pickett does that, you know, you take away that weapon and you probably prove to be the better fighter. Even though he's not great, I still side with Jamie Pickett in this matchup. So that's going to be my pick, Jamie Pickett. Let's go. Moving into a matchup between Jailton Almeida taking on Anton Turkalj. Now guys, he's nasty. He's really nasty, you know. Take you to the mat, smash you, really good jiu-jitsu. You know, what he done to Spider Pig, Parker Porter, nearly illegal. You know, just picked him up, put him on the mat, dusted. Even on the Contender Series, you know, Jailton Almeida, he ragdolled a Dagestani. You know, you don't do that to a Dagestani, but Almeida did. Now the opponent, Anton Turkalj, this guy fought on the Contender Series and kind of put on a grappling performance. In my opinion, Anton didn't really show to be too dangerous with the grappling. You know, kind of held on rather than tried to advance your position or try to finish the fight. And I believe that's going to be the real difference in this matchup. Both guys are good grapplers, but one's quite violent, the other one not so much. So yeah, I'm going to say that Jailton Almeida would win this fight around 80% of the time, which is -400. I don't think Anton's bad. You know, the Contender Series performance, he clearly won the fight. He was clearly a good grappler, clearly out-grappled the opponent. But like I said, the difference is going to be Almeida is more violent with it. And that's what I think happens there. I think it might be a ground and pound or a submission for Jailton Almeida. Alright, my homies, you know what time it is. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, that's a triple amen, gang. Let's go. Guys, I think it's right to dedicate this whole smoke break to Tiuliulin and Cyril Gane. Man, those guys put on a great main event. You know, Tiuliulin's performance, like, I appreciate that. You know, he took his time. He didn't just go in there and try to find a kill shot. Tiuliulin took his time, you know, really tried to find the shot. And to be honest, man, it nearly worked. Like, he did catch Gane, right? No one's caught Gane like that, but Ty did. But we did learn with Gane, even if you rock that guy, even if you catch him, you've got to put that guy away. You know, that guy can recover. he did recover. I feel like Cyril Gane became more urgent in that fight. You know, the teeps to the body, the kicks to the body was a madness. Beautiful. But yeah, massive respect to both guys. You know, Taito Ivaza showed his level, Cyril showed his level. That was a great main event. UFC 279, let's go. Moving into a matchup between Hakeem Dawodu taking on Julian Erosa. Guys, Hakeem Dawodu, this guy's Muay Thai is pretty good. You know, his kicking ability is very good. It's powerful, it's effective, and it's probably going to be on display in this matchup. Then you look at the hands of Hakeem Dawodu. You know, this guy can set you down. On the flip side, Julian Erosa, you know, sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit. You look at what Devontae Smith done to Julian. You look at what Sungwoo Choi done to Julian. You know, both of those guys dusted him. But on the flip side, you look at Julian Erosa getting a Darce choke against Sean Woodson. You look at the flying knee against Nate Landwehr. You look at the Darce choke again against Charles Jourdain. You know, Juicy J's got some experience. You know, Hakeem Dawodu minus 220 pre-fight. Maybe wait for an in-play. You know, an in-play might be on with this type of matchup. Could be 1-1 after 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to side with Hakeem Dawodu to win this fight. And the main reason why I'm going to do that, I think the chin of Julian Erosa, sometimes it kind of lets him down. And against a big power puncher like Hakeem Dawodu, that might be the case here. So yeah, I'm going to side with Hakeem. Moving into a matchup between Johnny Walker taking on Ion Cutelaba. Man, Johnny Walker, ever since Corey Anderson dusted him, it's just been downhill. Like, Nikita Krylov out-wrestled him. He was able to beat Ryan Spann, but he did get dropped. He got hurt badly. Then against Thiago Santos, Johnny Walker was pretty scared to engage. You know, didn't want to fight with Thiago. And it kind of made sense. You know, it makes sense because Johnny Walker's got a glass jaw. So, of course, he doesn't want to fight with Thiago Santos. Then against Jamal Hill, he kind of gets what he deserves, man. He just kind of got dusted. Everyone seems to dust Johnny Walker. Now on the flip side, the Hulk, Ion Cutelaba. I took Ryan Spann as a big underdog, like plus 190. The thing with Cutelaba, his cardio's not good. He's kind of a one-round fighter. You know what, guys? I'm going to do it. I think if we spark the blunt for Johnny Walker, if we all spark the blunt for Johnny right now, I think he's going to win this fight. So there you go. That's the energy right there for Johnny Walker. If he doesn't win now, you know what I'm saying? Nothing can save you, Johnny Walker. Nothing can save you. But speaking about the matchup, I think Cutelaba's a good wrestler and he should be able to get takedowns on Johnny Walker. But like I said, Cutelaba doesn't really have good cardio. You know, if he uses too much energy round one and he doesn't get a stoppage, then he's going to be fatigued. He's going to be stationary. And that's where Johnny Walker might start to land his shots, land his kicks. My pick, I'm going to take Johnny Walker as a big plus 180 underdog. The moment has arrived. Macy Chiasson, MGK. Big fan. Big fan of Macy Chiasson. I have picked Macy Chiasson every single time she's been to the octagon. Big fan. And if you look at the game of Macy Chiasson, you know, she's not the best striker, but she is pretty tall. She's like 6 foot. And sometimes she can use that to her advantage. You know, look to grapple the opponent. That's what she done to Norma Dumont as a big underdog. But this time round, I'm not going to be picking Macy Chiasson. I'm not picking MGK. Irene Aldana's a really good boxer. And I kind of think she's going to box the face of MGK. She's going to box the face of Macy Chiasson. The only way I can see Macy Chiasson winning this matchup, she just has to get Irene to the mat or get her to the fence and just stay there. But yeah, like I said, I think this time round, Irene Aldana, she's serious. She's a good boxer. I'm taking Irene. Moving into a matchup between Kevin Holland taking on Daniel Rodriguez, the homie Home Alone. Man, two of my favourite fighters on the same card, MGK, and now the homie Home Alone, Kevin Holland. Alright, let's start by saying Daniel Rodriguez is very good. This guy has beat a lot of competition, pretty much everyone he's fought inside the UFC. In his UFC debut, he club and subbed Tim Means, he beat Gabe Green, he was able to recover and beat Dwight Grant. He boxed the face off Mike Perry, he beat Preston Parsons, he pretty much dominated Kevin Lee. The only person Daniel Rodriguez hasn't really beat, or maybe he did beat, but the fight was somewhat close, is Nicholas Dalby. And the only similarities Nicholas Dalby and Kevin Holland share would be like the kicking. You know, both guys are pretty good kickers. And that's going to be because Nicholas Dalby is a karate practitioner. So if Kevin Holland can kind of keep D-Rod at the end of his kicks, that might be a problem in this matchup. Now guys, usually when you're fighting Kevin Holland, the best way to beat this guy is usually to wrestle, right? It's what Marvin Vettori done. It's what Derek Brunson done. But Daniel Rodriguez isn't really looking to wrestle the opponent. He's looking to box the opponent. So stylistically, I think it's a good matchup for Kevin Holland. In my opinion, the betting line is pretty off on this one, but I think Kevin Holland's probably going to get the better of Daniel Rodriguez, considering Daniel's moving up £10 and considering the only matchup that Daniel Rodriguez has really struggled in was against a karate practitioner and Kevin's a pretty good kicker. Yeah, I'm going to side with the homie, Home Alone, in this matchup. Let's go Kevin Holland. Alright, moving into the co-main, we've got Jingliang Li taking on Tony Ferguson. Man, Tony Ferguson is not the same Tony Ferguson anymore. You know, Tony's always taken a lot of damage and he is quite old now. And that damage has kind of caught up with Tony Ferguson. You know, what Justin Gaethje done, nearly illegal. Man, what Michael Chandler done to Tony Ferguson, the front kick. Oh my goodness. But you do have to acknowledge, guys, that round 1 against Michael Chandler from Tony Ferguson, it was pretty good. You know, the boogeyman was there, round 1. Now the opponent, the Leech, he's been looking pretty good. You know, he's got a lot of power. He can knock you dead. And he might do that to Tony, man. You know, Tony hasn't got good striking defense. But having said all of that, I'm taking Tony Ferguson. Listen. Tony Ferguson's not the same anymore. That's okay. That's okay. It's Tony Ferguson. That's my pick. Now, I'm not saying go bet Tony Ferguson. I'm not saying put your house on Tony Ferguson, right? That wouldn't be a super smart thing to do, but I'm not going to bet on Lee. I'm not going to pick Lee. I'm staying with my boy, the boogeyman, Tony Ferguson. If he doesn't get starched in the first round, Lee might start to slow down, and that's where the boogeyman can, you know, start to take over. Now, that wasn't the case with Chandler. You know, round 2, front kick, dusteration, dusted. But I'm sticking with Tony Ferguson. That's going to be my pick. Alright, moving into the main event, we've got Khamzat Chimaev taking on Nate Diaz. Now guys, it's kind of the same thing with Nate Diaz in every matchup. If you get tired in a 5-round fight against Nate Diaz, that's like the worst thing that could happen. If you take a look at Khamzat Chimaev, we know what this guy wants to do. Take you to the mat and completely smash you. And that's kind of what I think happens with this main event. You know, if Khamzat shoots for any takedowns, I think he gets them against Nate Diaz. The only way I think Nate Diaz is really going to beat Khamzat is if Khamzat just gets tired. You know, 25 minutes with Nate is always a challenge. And one of the best ways that Khamzat could avoid getting tired in this type of matchup, you don't want to box with Nate. You want to just fight your fight, and that's take the opponent to the mat. Because if you're on the feet trading the same type of way that you did against Burns, you know, I could see some crazy stuff happening. I can see Khamzat getting tired. So really, I think Khamzat should just take the opponent to the mat, open him up, you know, scar tissue, open that on the mat. And if he does that, I think there could be like a doctor stoppage, or maybe you just do that round in, round out, and that's a good win against Nate Diaz. So yeah, my pick in this matchup, I'm going to have to side with Khamzat Chimaev to win this main event, UFC 279, and to just completely dust Nate on the way out of the UFC. And like I said, the best way to do that, take Nate to the mat, open him up, target the scar tissue, and just look for a nice ground and pound stoppage. And even if you don't get that stoppage, you're going to cause some damage. You're going to open him up, and that's where the doctor comes in, you know what I'm saying, and stops the fight. Alright, be sure to drop down your main event, your co-main event, your MoneyCity plays, drop all of that. As always, keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.